Everything big. Oh, you fancy, huh?
Let me see your hands. Wave them at them bitches hating on you with their friends. Girl, you
Now tuned into Let's Talk Podcast, where we talk less and do more. Today we have a very special guest.
Adore.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm so happy to have you because when I first started, I started in December. I'm like, let me watch some podcasts. And I was just going through a lot of different podcasts, and it was like, none of these really, I can't relate to any of them. So I started watching yours. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was watching them, I was studying, like, this is it. Like, it's just, I would have never thought that I would have you as a guest because your podcast was so, like, further because it was like 100, literally 100 something episodes. So I am very, 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 very happy to have you. I actually watched your last episode when I was getting my eyebrows done today, and I resonate with it a lot, a whole lot. Life just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Life just happened, and it happened so fast. But for people who don't know who you are, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Adore, formerly known and a part of Real Talk with Adore and Daisy. That was a podcast. And who I am now, I'm just healing and rebranding myself as a person.
Mm-hmm. That's important. I feel like when you brand yourself as a person, you can do anything, and you're gonna have support. You're gonna have genuine support because they don't care if you're selling water or if you're selling makeup. They're supporting you as a person. And what you said you formally in the podcast, what made, like, what was that turning point? What made you initially decide to?
So that was a stepping stone for me. At the time that I started it, it was just something that we were just like, let's do it. We didn't have no plan. We didn't know what we was doing. We just did it. And then, like, as I was going into it, when you talk to different people, you around different people, like, I was a reserved person prior to the podcast, and that was something that made me step out of my comfort zone and become, I guess who I was or who I thought I was. And then I was forced, like, to grow. And then I was, like, on a really really bad, I always say it's really, really bad because it got to the point it was out of my control. I was on a spiritual healing journey, and it got to a point where certain things I wasn't allowed to be a part of anymore or around. And that's when I realized my time was up at the podcast.
I feel like that's where I've been the last few months, actually. And it's put me in a space now where I don't even need my questions. It put me in a space now where it's like, when I try to ignore it, when I know I need to be doing something different, or I don't need to be around certain things, and I still try to do those certain things to maybe please other people, or sometimes I feel like I'm bored and I just want to just step back into it. It's just like, I feel like God made me so uncomfortable. And the only answer to, like, why do I feel like, I will wake up some mornings, I just don't feel good. My mind is just racing. I don't feel good. And I be like, what is wrong with me? And it's just like, it's making me uncomfortable, so I can get out of that space. But the only how I'm going to get out of that space is to do what I know that needs to be done. So,
that was the same for me. So, like, the last couple of episodes, I cried like almost every episode. And something big that I'm big on is checking in on mental health. So, like, I always will ask people, how's your mental health? How's your mental health? And my mental health was jacked up. Like, and it's like, I was only showing up because it was a commitment that I had made with another person. So it was like, I didn't want that to affect me. So I was like, you know what? We talk about it. We honest. I'm going to be transparent with it. And I was, like, real transparent. Like, today I did not feel like getting out the bed. Like, I didn't get out the bed for 3 days prior to today. Like, I was, like, being honest about my journey. And it was, like, out of my control. And it was, like, I was uncomfortable. And my spirit was uneasy around certain things and certain people. It had nothing to do with the podcast. But that's just when I knew, like, okay, he's taking me into an isolation season. So I went into, like, isolation. I started praying. I started fasting. I started praying for clarity. I wasn't around people for days, in and out. And when you get quiet and you block out the noise, you're going to start hearing the spirit speak to you. And whatever it tells you it tells you to do, you gotta do it. Or you're gonna be uncomfortable, you're gonna be unhappy, it's gonna be chaos where you're not supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think out of all the spiritual healing journeys I've been on, this one right here
That's the one.
took me down through there. Like I wasn't myself for months. I mean, I'm not myself now. I'm a different person. So getting to know yourself, a new person, a person you've never been before, is hard because you don't know what to expect. It's unknown, and a lot of people can't relate. But I always want to advocate for people to find like-minded people. It's people around you that you may not know yet, that's going through the same thing. That's why you got to be transparent sometimes, especially having a platform. And it's gonna be somebody that watch your podcast and be, oh, I'm going through the same thing, and they're gonna tell people about your podcast. And it's just communities of people that's on spiritual healing journeys that can relate to each other. And it's not to say that you're not gonna have the same friends or they aren't your friends, but sometimes new life requires
New people.
So, and that's the harsh reality of it, and that's why it's not for everybody. Like that's what I mean, but having that 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So
I just made a video on TikTok and I was talking about this. I feel like I'm at a point where I just have to pick a side, and it's so hard because even it's sometimes it be family, and I'm not downplaying nobody in my family, but it's just like sometimes you're just not aligned with certain people and certain things. And these last few weeks were the hardest because I went through a point where I was telling one of my close friends, I'm like, I'm not getting no views like that. I'm not getting this, but if I post a video of this on Instagram, they gonna like it. But when I post my podcast, and she like, well, maybe you should just be true to yourself. And I'm like, I am being true to myself. I want to be a better person. Like this is really my episodes is about things that I'm going through. My podcast is therapeutic for me. It's like it's my release. It's like when I'm mental dump, and it's just like when people tell me, well, you need to talk about more trendy things, or maybe you should switch it up. And I was literally considering just switching up the whole thing, like rebranding my whole podcast, like to be more hip. I was really considering, and this is what I'm saying. I was really considering just changing everything up and rebranding and just doing things different, doing things more appeasing to a bigger audience of people. But when I start thinking about that, like, okay, well, I'm gonna talk about this and this and this and this, it's like everything around me just went chaotic. Like everything just started going crazy. Like I was having headaches. I wasn't feeling good. Some day I've been going to the gym. I'm like 28 days in. I've been going to the gym every day. Some days I wake up and I'll be like, I woke up one day, I'm like, I'm not going to class today. And then I'm like, why? And it's like, everything was just like it was just caving in on me. And when I sat and I was watching, I watch Megan Ashley podcast a lot. I watch Crystal, she playing Sisters. I watch different podcasts, and it's like you have to stay true to yourself, because at the end of the day, when you're sitting alone and you really thinking to yourself, that's all that really matter. Like I'm not gonna be appeasing to everybody, and I don't want to be. Like I'm not just doing it for the views. And then that day when I was like, okay, I'm gonna just switch it around, I'm gonna rebrand. 2 girls wrote me on Instagram and was like, you talk about stuff that we wish, like me and my friend, we wish we could talk about these things, like, but we're not comfortable. That's why people are like, you post this, do your hair before you post this. No, I live I'm very transparent. One day I may wake up and I may want to go out, and then one day I may wake up and I want to talk about how I'm building my relationship with God. It's just like every day is something different with me. And my podcast may seem like up and down, up and down, up and down, but this is just me taking people on my journey. It's like one day I wake up and I just feel like a different person, and then one day I wake up and I might feel like my old self. And it's a battle that I feel like a lot of people is going through. So that's why I'm so transparent when I share it, because it's people that feel like they don't have nobody and they can't talk to nobody. Like I felt for a long time, because I would talk to my friends and they would be like, well, I get it. It is just like you just be on there talking, or you talking about this, you talking about that. Maybe it's just not for y'all. Sometimes it's not for the people that's close to you. It's just not. And I'm learning that I can't please everybody. I have to just live in my own truth.
So let me explain about the views. Do not even watch or pay attention to your views. Like when it's your time, it's your time. When you starting out, of course, it's going to take a little moment for you to get to, or for you to feel like you're doing something. But consistency is the key. I don't care if you get 5 views this week, 6 views next week, 1,000 views that week after that, 10,000 views the next time. if this is something that's along your journey and God wants it for you, it's gonna go exactly where you need it to be. I was all over the place in the beginning of the podcast, but one thing I can tell you, a lot of people that started from episode 1, they will write me all the time. Like, it'd be like 20 episodes in, 30 episodes in, like, oh, I see your growth, I see the change, I see this, I see that. Like, this is something that you're starting to do. You're still learning. You're still trying to figure it out. You're still trying to figure out, should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? Like, but always just stay true to yourself in the process. And you're going to grow. You're going to get better. You're going to be better. You're going to meet people. You're going to get people on here you thought you would never be able to get on. And one thing I can say, it was all strangers that supported my podcast. It was, of course, it was my family and my friends. But, sometimes I've heard, and you might have seen in a lot of episodes, a lot of people that we got on there used to be like, oh, I had to make sure y'all was serious. Because, everybody doing this had to make sure. But, girl, no, that... Don't pay attention to the views. The people that's for you is for you. That's what I'm saying. A community of people that's healing, a community of people that's scared to have uncomfortable conversations, or because they may just start their healing journey. They don't know where to start. They don't know who to talk to. These are the podcasts they need. And I feel like just be yourself. I feel like the trendy things is cool, but that's I feel like that's harder to keep up with because every week it's something different.
It's something different.
So yeah.
And it's people, I know it's people that write me, even when I was transparent when I had my daughter and I did it by myself, single, like my whole pregnancy, everything. It's people that, it's really private people. Like, it's people that's really private. And a person like me that's transparent, they're watching me because they like, I'm talking about things that they want to say or things they want to talk about or things they want to hear, but they just, it's and people say people think they private, think they better. No, it's really people that live private lives, and I'm learning that. And sometimes I wish I wasn't so transparent because sometimes I just want to, like, now I'm at a point where I really want to delete all my social media. I want to just I feel like I just need to be by myself. I'm in my last few weeks of nursing school, so it's just a lot on me. But this is what I do to just, like, this make me feel better. Like, my whole last week was crazy. I just, life just been lifing. I'm like, I just can't wait to go Sunday and record my episodes, my podcast, because I dropped my daughter off, and this is like my me time. And I noticed I was at a darker place when I used to go to work, and work used to be my me time. Like, I can't wait to go to work tomorrow just to get it. When I'm at work, I don't have to think about nothing but these patients that I gotta do, that I have to take care of. That's it. So that was my me time, and I'm like, that's crazy. Me coming to work, I'm sweating, I'm tired, I'm working 70 hours a week, and I'm calling this my me time. That's not peace. That's not my me time. So I finally start podcasting and found something that's really
therapeutic.
It helped me and it helped people. It's people that, I was at Opium and this guy came up to me and he like, I watch every episode. Like, I love the word. Keep doing what you're doing. Like, don't worry about anybody else. Keep doing what you're doing. And I remember I was at a point and I'm like, I'm about to stop. Like, it's not working for me. And I posted it in my close friends. People wrote me like, you better not. Like, you have a different podcast, it's going to just stay consistent. So now that's my only thing. I'm just trying to just stay consistent with it because I go through my own stuff and I be needing to just go in my little bubble, but it's like I'm just trying to just stay consistent, and I share those things. Like, I made an episode like, I don't know how I'm here. I didn't even want to get up, but I'm here, and let's just talk about what's going on in my brain. I'm imposter syndrome. It's just a lot of things that women go through as a whole, whether you married, single, and I just want to talk about those things because we need to know, everybody needs to know that they have somebody, and that's where I try to stick it at.
Girl, them DMs gonna be flooded one day. Them comments gonna be flooded. Like, the more and more you put your time into it and you grow, it's gonna be people like, girl, I went through this and we went through the same thing and you got me through this. Like, it's gonna be those that's gonna keep you going, if nothing else.
What is my first question for you? What does being obedient, because I know your episode you said it was just time for you to just be obedient to God. What does being obedient to God mean to you?
Not living my life my way.
How you want to do it?
Yeah, it don't work that way. It never work. You ever just dated somebody you know you're not supposed to date?
And it's never chaos. Go right.
Every day. Yeah, no.
You're like, we ain't argued for 2 days. Like, that's not normal. It's not normal to be happy about that. You shouldn't. I get that. And the moment, do you remember the exact moment when you really was like, okay, it's time? Like,
October.
It's time to it's time.
October. All last year, I talked about, like, how I'm just gonna be intentional, that I'm gonna be obedient. Whenever we would talk about like what's our upcoming goals and plans, I used to be like, well, whatever God wants for me, like, because I got to that point where I knew I tried a lot of things, like whether it was in my personal life, business life, my way, and it wasn't what I expected it to be. But when I be obedient to God, like I get rewarded so good. That's when I'm at my happiest. That's when, don't get me wrong, you still are a human and you still, do go through things, but it's not as bad when you're doing it by yourself.
It's not, and you can, and it's really insane how when you in alignment and you being obedient and you see like the blessings, they just like you like, oh my God, like you can't even say where it come from because you know where it come from, and then you can really just backslide back into that, and it's like I think to myself like, why did I do that? If I know it could get like this, why am I? And that's what you're saying, 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and it's just like, it's easier said than done, but I'm really like, I'm at a point now where I'll cut like whoever got to go, they just got to go, and I'm so close knit with my family and my friends. I'm like, I'm the person, like I'm the friend you talk to every day. I talk to it's 9 of us. I talk to all my sisters and brothers on a daily basis, but I'm really at that point like, sometimes I don't want to talk. My sisters will blow me down. They're like, what you doing? Nothing. I'm not doing nothing, but I'm alive, but I don't want to talk. Like I'm just in my own little space. Do you ever think that you would podcast or anything again?
If it's up to me, no. I definitely learned a lot. I met a lot of people. I built a lot of relationships with people. Originally when I stopped, I didn't have a plan. I wasn't focused on the future. I was focused on right in that moment. And I have took time off to heal, to fast, to pray, to align my steps. So as of right now, I don't know.
Whatever God got for you. Period. Yeah. That's like Megan Ashley. I watch her a lot. And when she stopped podcasting with her friend, she basically was just like, she was like you said, like she was reserved, like she didn't even want to podcast. Her like B Simone like brought her out into the world. She always just was like in the back living her own little private life. And she like when she stopped podcasting, she just was like, okay, like she stopped, but she felt like God, that was just her. She had to do it again. And her podcast, I don't know if you ever watched it.
In totality.
Yes, I love her podcast. It's so relatable. It's like I really, really, really love her podcast. How do you navigate through like the social norms and being obedient? Do you ever feel like it's challenging? Like, is it ever something that you want to do but you don't do it because you know you're not supposed to do it? Or
I'm real reserved. I don't do nothing. I work, I go to school, I got like family. Most I do is go to dinner. I haven't been to a club and I can't tell you where. I don't really go to social gatherings. I'm actually going to one when I leave here, and I'm nervous.
I was about to say, you look so cute. Where are you going afterwards?
It's my friend's birthday. So, but when I'm in isolation season, I miss out, and it's not intentional. I don't be in the best spirits all the time, and I'm that energy type of person. If my spirits and my energy is off, I don't even want to be around people, because it's like, why am I faking happy and I'm unhappy?
I told a guy, I was supposed to go to dinner or something with somebody, and I canceled. I just wasn't feeling it. I got dressed and everything, and I've done this these last 3 weekends. I've done this. Got fully dressed, eyebrows out. Got fully dressed. Get in my car. The other night, I got in the car and I was about to go. I was about to go down to MGM. I drove the first gas station. I pulled in, got some ice cream, went back home, washed my face, and got in bed and watched TV. And I still haven't talked to my friend. She probably gonna watch this. I still haven't talked to her, and I think she kind of felt the way because I didn't go. But it's just like, I'm going through my own stuff. But I was still gonna try to show up just to. But then I was thinking about it, like, no, like just go through. I'm just not feeling it, and I didn't do it. But I told the guy, like, I'm canceling. He was mad or whatever. He like, well, I'm like, my energy is off, and I don't want to be in your space. You could be having the best day, and my energy is going to throw you off. Even if I try to act like, oh, I'm fine, it's just I wear my feelings on my sleeve. Like, if my energy off, I won't go, and that's just what I did. And some people just don't understand that.
That's called boundaries. You have to set them. that comes with healing. My early 20s, I did not have boundaries. Girl, I used to be all over the place, clowning, everything. I have boundaries now, and people that are currently still my friends, they understand me. They understand that I have those seasons in those days where I may not want to talk. Like, I don't have no friend be like, oh, I haven't talked to you in a week. No, all of the friends I got now, we can go weeks without talking. And I talk, one of us a call or however it works. Oh, what you been up to? What you been reading? Like, it's not complicated at all. Like, they not questioning me on why I didn't answer the phone, or I'm not questioning them on why they didn't answer the phone. We grown, and life is happening to everybody. It's like, I just turned 30. 30 is a serious age. Yes. Like, this is where life really means a lot. Not that it didn't mean a lot before, but
it's just a different feeling.
Well, for me, I feel like a lot of my mistakes are in the past. Like, now I've built myself up, you know what I'm saying? Like, career-wise, like, I'm trying to figure it out what it is that I want to do. So it's like, boundaries is super important. I'm not 20. I'm not about to blow somebody up. Unless, like, I'm really concerned and I'm trying to check in on them and I know something is going wrong. But other than that, I don't have to talk to people every day. I don't talk to people every day, actually.
That's good. I wish I was there. I'd be trying. It's some days, like, my friend will just like, how you doing? I'll be like, good. She's like, no, you're not. What's wrong? I don't like the trauma dump. I don't want to be that I feel like I'm in a space now where I'm going through something every day because my emotions and my feelings is just different every day. So if I'm being 100% transparent with my friend, what you doing today? But some days I'll be like, damn, like, I don't even want to tell him. I'm just saying I'm all right, because it's like I was just went through something 2 days ago. It's like, so sometimes I just won't answer, and then my friends that know, they'll text like, if you need anything, let me know, blah, 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 whatever. But it's some people, damn, why you answering? And it's like, those are the kind of people that I'm kind of like veering away from, and it hurt because you genuinely be loving people. Like, I love you. You are my friend, but we are just not aligned no more. And it hurt. I feel like friend breakups, me personally, I've dealt with some serious friend breakups just on me just not being aligned with a person. It's like I can't even hide it no more. But friend breakups hit me harder than romantic relationships.
Me too,
like,
me too.
I be like, I lost, like,
because your friend, like, I feel like friends, we kind of look at them as sisters. You tell them everything. You, like, be super close. Oh, I went on a date. This what happened. Like, it's just different. I don't know how to explain it, but you got to learn when to say no. You have to learn how to have boundaries, like, in anything. Friendships, like, even my mom, they all know me. They all know, like, some days I don't feel like being bothered, and I'll say that, like, hey, I'm not, but I'm in therapy, so I'm doing a lot better, like, consistently in therapy.
You are the third person that's like, somebody else was on, and it was like, you therapy, like, why wouldn't you want to go? I just feel like I need it. I do, from my relationship with my dad, my mom. It's like a lot of things that happened when I was young. I feel like I do need therapy, but then I'm in a space now where it's like, I don't even know where to start. Like, if I was to sit down in front of a therapist, it would be like, I wouldn't even know where to start. And I just feel like, I don't know.
That's their job. They kind of would ask you, depending on I've tried a few therapists to the one I got now, and they'll ask you, like, exactly what area are you trying to hit at this moment, and that's just like an icebreaker. And it's like, once you start going, they get to know you, they get to know, like, what season you in, and they may focus on that. Like, my therapist, when we talk, now we just talk once a month, but when we talk, a lot of the times he'll say, since we talked last, like, what are some wins you've had? Like, that's like icebreaker. And then, like, he'll listen to me, and then he'll be like, I noticed you said blah 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 blah, what did you mean when you said that? Okay. And it's just like, it's just natural. Like, he's amazing. Like, at first people used to be like, you crazy, you going to therapy, like, what's wrong with you? And it's not like you're mentally crazy, but people fail to realize that I feel like all of us got issues. A lot of people got childhood trauma, and that affects their adulthood, and that affects their relationships.
I was dating this guy, and I just felt like he just, as much as he wanted to be for women, I feel like he really hated women. And then as I got to talk to him and his mother was like this, and that told me everything I needed to know. But you could never tell him that because he felt like there's nothing wrong with him. But childhood trauma is definitely, like, my aunt, who adopted me and all my sisters and brothers when my mom passed, she's in therapy now. Her therapist like give her like little homework and stuff to do, and she like you. It's a good thing, and I feel like a lot of times people, because I've done this before, back before I got some sense. I feel like when we see people changing for the better, we look at them like they crazy. They going to therapy, they crazy. They talking about God, they crazy, and I feel like that's just us projecting because we not mentally at a space where we can do it ourselves. Because anybody that have common sense want to be a better person. Who don't want to be a better person? I'm not saying everybody just hate their life, hate themselves. You could be in a good space, but you always want to be better. And I feel like people that know that they call them low hanging fruit. People that's going out and they partying and they sell. My aunties always be like, "What are you celebrating? Failure? Like you going out, you drinking every day for what?" And I work in the healthcare, so it's like it's 50-year-olds I had as patients, and they're simply there because they got laced or they so overweight they can't take care of themselves. And it's like your health is very, very important. Drinking every day is not good, no matter how social we try to make it, because we make everything social nowadays. But it's just when we not in a space where we feel like we could be better or we can change, we try to poke fun at the people that's actually doing it, when in reality we wish we could do those things. And that's how I feel. How do you feel like in your walk, in your journey, how do you feel like being obedient, like has it changed like your career or like other aspects of your life that you thought you had figured out?
Being obedient has forced me to leave people in the past. But I've also been blessed with new people in my life. Okay. They are amazing, like amazing. I wouldn't trade them for the world. That's a part about being obedient. Things that we're used to, people and places that we're comfortable with, you might not ever be able to go back to. And I've been in situations where I prayed myself out of situations and out of places. And you know how like sometimes when you just like real down and you're praying and you don't even know what to say, it's just tears. It's like I don't go back to those places. I try my hardest. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I backtrack. I actually had somebody try me a few weeks ago, and I'm not a confrontational person. I used to be way in my earlier 20s, but I had to realize that people do try you when they see that you're trying to do better.
They try to take you back,
and it's like I even warned that person, like I'm on a healing journey, kind of really don't
tread lightly.
Yeah, I kind of, yeah. So it was like that at that point in time it worked, but weeks later it didn't work. But it was like after I like reacted, it was like, was it worth it?
No, and it's never.
It don't be worth it. So it's like that's what I mean by you can't go back to those same places because you'll be back to who you was prior. So being obedient has got me better. Like now I know how to turn the other cheek. Now I don't even be in situations or places where that
you gotta take it. Yeah. Do you have any like strategies or any advice? Like, what do you do to stay committed? Like, is there anything that you do to make, like you said, to make sure you don't go to those places? Do you just avoid?
Routine and schedule. I feel like when you on routine and your schedule, I know it's kind of like military strict, and I had people around me in the past that used to be like, you're so strict, you're so, and like laughed about it. Like, and back then, like I was still growing, so I used to be like, like, so what? Like never. But it's like people that's for you wouldn't even make fun of things that that you're trying to be a better person. If anything, you're supposed to be encouraging me. But I do think that having a schedule definitely helps me. Like from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep, especially Monday through Friday. Like if you in school, if you go to work, just have like, you can write it down until you get it down packed. But like get up, get in the shower, get up, go to the gym, or just like be in a routine just makes when you just living in chaos and all over the place, that's how you will find yourself somewhere you shouldn't be.
You ever watch E.T. the hip hop preacher?
Love him.
Oh my God, that's what I would say. I listen to him every morning, and that's one thing he is so big on, and that's one thing I have to get with a schedule. He like, difference between a millionaire and a person that's living check to check. A schedule. They got structure. that's the cheat code to having. And that's my thing. Every year I'm like, I'm practicing structure. But like me, I just wake up and just hit go. Wake up, feet hit the ground, I'm out. I'm doing all these. And I think like I didn't been busy all day, didn't do nothing that I needed to do.
Do you read books?
I'm working on it. Yes, right now.
Did you read UOU?
I have the book. I haven't read it. I'm really on I'm reading Atomic Habits right now, and my next book. I joined the book club. I'm trying, like you said, I'm trying to get with like-minded people, like people that like to read. I like going. I went to pottery. I've been going to the museum. I'm trying to get with people that like to do stuff I like to do, and it's not really like people that's close to me. So I'll be having to like go out. So I joined the book club, and they sent me the book, and I actually have to read that because I'm going to the podcast. Something else. I'm going to the Black Podcast Festival
in Atlanta.
I'm going there by myself. I'm like, I'm not even about to ask somebody to go with me. I'm just going with myself. And the book club meeting is the next day, so I'm gonna be literally in and out because I have to do both. Like I'm a person, I do what I say I'm gonna do, so I have to do both. Do you have any advice for people that's trying to walk like in alignment? Like any advice for them?
I don't really have real advice. I just feel like to be a better person, you gotta allow yourself new opportunities, because if you stay within your old mindset, it's not gonna happen. So you gotta get around like-minded people, do things you never did before, change your habits, become a better person. If you never read a book before, read a book. You never listened to a podcast before, listen to a podcast. You gotta find things that get your mind off of old things. It obviously becomes easier. In the beginning, nobody wants to lose people. Nobody wants to lose friends. Nobody wants to say bye to that boyfriend that's no good to them, because it's comfort. Like, we love our comfort zone. But you cannot grow when you're comfortable.
You can't. And when you're comfortable, it's like, anytime I'm too comfortable, it's just, I be thinking like, what's about to happen? And you shouldn't think like that, but it's like, especially if you know you're in a situation that you shouldn't be in, but you just feel like, okay, I'm good, I'm comfortable now, you should know like, it's about to get rocky. And that's just one thing. I'm trying to move with intention. I'm trying to be intentional about especially my friendships, but even with like other relationships I have, like with my sisters, with anybody, like men especially. It have to be some type of intention. I'm 33. I'm not a kid, so I'm not just trying to go out to eat and don't talk for 3 weeks and then we go out to eat again. It's like, what are we doing? That's where I'm at with it. Yes. Do you have any advice for anybody that wants to like start a podcast or that's podcasting? Like any advice for those? Because your podcast was good. I loved it.
Thank you. Do it. Stay consistent. Don't never let nobody tell you no. The people you told no, spin a block on them. Stay true to yourself. Stay consistent. Work hard. It's definitely blood, sweat, and tears into podcasting. It's not easy. Even when it's hard, do not give up. Even when you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, just keep going. Keep your faith.
You got to, because I'll be like, I'm not making no money from this. I gotta go to work. I gotta do this, and it's just like I'm just stay consistent because I really, really enjoy doing it. I love doing it.
It's a picture that's floating around on Instagram right now. I didn't screenshot it, but remember, who's the man that started Amazon?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
He was in the room, yeah, and it was like he had Amazon written out, like he written out
spray paint.
Yeah, it's like they say, if you ever feel like giving up, just look at this. And look at Amazon now.
Yeah, and he said he told his family, his siblings to invest $10,000, and nobody would do it. And look at him now, rich. So, what I had to ask you. The juicing. I've been seeing you juice. I want to try it. Do you do it like weekly, or do you just do it every day? How do you?
So usually I do it every day. It just depends. Sometimes like I have those super, super busy days where I don't have time either to go get it or to make it. Definitely greens every day. I definitely notice a change in my mental health, my skin for sure. And it just make you feel good. It make you regular going to the bathroom. I know that sounds crazy, but being bloated is so uncomfortable.
And you can really see a difference. Yeah. You can see a difference when you bloated and when you be like, dang, yesterday I was, and today, them greens, my friend, she drunk some, associate, she used to drink celery juice, and you could just tell she was not, her stomach just was so flat, and she like, it's the celery juice. And juice, and my sister is vegan, she juice a lot. The health and fitness stuff is really like, It's becoming trendy too.
Yeah.
Like I love scrolling my timeline. Maybe it's because I've been going to the gym, but just scrolling my timeline and just seeing fitness and health and everybody like trying to tap in is I really love seeing that.
Yes, definitely go check out my girl, Fresh and Fresh Shoes. That's in Troy, if y'all in the area.
Yeah, I was gonna try that. She got a juice called I Am Zen. My daughter's name is Zen. I definitely
You gotta
wanna
go
try
do it.
Yeah, I know. I have to get it.
Yeah.
I really thank you for coming. I really
Thank you for having
I've
me.
been watching you, and you can tell from the episodes. Just you could just tell the growth. Like you could just you have a story. Definitely, your journey. I would hope that you speak about it like publicly
one day.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I will definitely be tuned in. Maybe write a book. I don't know. Just put it out there. But yeah, your story is a lot of young Black women. I feel like we always, like you said, we go for what's comfortable. So if there's really no challenging, if I really don't have to do too much, then that's what I'm gonna do. And I just feel like you just did the opposite. You knew it was gonna be hard. You knew it was gonna get dark, and you still chose to go that way because you thinking like longevity, and you thinking was at the end of the tunnel, and that's admirable. It's amazing, and we just need more people, like more people that can be uncomfortable, because it's a lot of people that want to do it, but they know the people close to them, or they know they not mentally strong enough to stand alone. And I feel like sometimes that's how people go crazy, because a lot of people are not mentally able to go through those times and make it out a better person. Like you could have did the same thing and came out schizophrenic, anything like crazy, like that journey when you doing self-work. It's been times where I was at home, like just crying, like ugly crying. It's not crying. And it's like, if I wasn't mentally like strong, no telling what could have happened. Like you just be in a dark place, and then that could be at 2, and you got to be to work at 3, and from 3 to 11 you at work regular. Nobody know what you going through at home. So I just I love how you put your mental health. You make that a priority, because I feel like a lot of people our age don't do that. I really appreciate you for coming. I was on your page, and I'm like, I'm trying to like see what's going on, like what's going on now. Like I'm thinking, like what's going on. Like I'm trying to just see the progress, because I was so like interested. Because y'all podcast, y'all had the views, y'all had the followers. Nobody, well, you did it, but a lot of people are not about to step away from that. They'll probably still try to do it, and then try to do that, like you said, one foot in, one foot out. People, we want instant gratification so much. So to see you just really step out on faith, it's like I'm tuned in. Like what's next? Because I know something. Like I know it's good. I know it's great.
Girl, I'm in tune. I don't know. I wish I did. But I definitely been just doing my self-work, like the fasting, the praying, the ugly. Like I'm just now coming around. That's why when you ask me, I'm like, okay, a few people asked me, so now I got a few more podcasts I have to hit. But I'm just now at a place where I could talk without crying. I could not talk about that without crying for a long time.
Because you had me crying when you sent me the live. I was at work crying, like this is my life. Like this is, and it's so relatable. And I just feel like we need more people to speak on it, because I try to speak on things like mental health and stuff like that, but I'm just one person. Like it's me speaking on it, and it's 10 other people speaking on the bullshit. So it's just like, I'm just happy I got you on. You are a person I'm like, I've been wanting to write you, but I'm like, she says she's in her quiet, she's in her quiet season. Then I started seeing you start doing like the juice, and I'm like, okay, she's stepping out. I'm gonna wait a couple more weeks, and she's getting back in the groove. And then I don't know, something just, and I wrote you late too. Something just told me like, just write it. And I'm like, I just wrote you, and I'm like, you responded. I'm like, oh my god, when you responded, I was
I was on Instagram at the time.
Yes, it was.
A lot of the times though, I be having to go and read them. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And